Welcome back to Rhythm Guitar Book 2. This book focuses on open chords, strumming, and fingerstyle patterns. You can watch all these videos for free, but it's going to be a lot easier to learn if you have your own copy of Rhythm Guitar 2 that you can read from and write in. So I'll leave a link in the description. We're on pages 68 and 69, and in this lesson, I'm going to show you C to A minor bass runs. On page 68, we have C to A minor bass runs. These are very similar to the G to E minor bass runs you learned on page 66. And we're going to be using our bass strum pattern for this. So in the first example, we have your bass strum pattern going from C to A minor, no bass run. In number R108, we have a C to A minor bass run. So on beat 1 and 2, you're going to play your bass and strum as usual, bass, strum. On beat 3 and 4, you're going to do your bass run. That's going to be fret 3 on the 5th string, fret 2 on the 5th string, and then to your A minor chord. So it sounds like this. Notice I'm keeping my first finger the same. Now R109, we're just reversing that bass run and playing A minor to C. So now we're playing bass and strum on an A minor, and our bass run begins on beat 3. We play an open 5th string, and then 5th string 2nd fret, and then moving to your C chord. So it sounds like this. And just as we did on page 66, a really good way to practice bass runs is to just loop them back and forth. So we have exercise R110, and that's just C's to A minors. You only have time to do a bass and a strum on each chord. And then on beat 3 and 4, you're doing your bass run to A minor, bass, strum, bass run on beat 3 and 4, going back to C, going back to A minor, and just do this in an endless loop, so it should sound like this. And so forth. I'd like you to include the C to A minor bass run and the G to E minor bass run from page 66 in your warm-up until you're comfortable with the timing. On top of page 69, we have R111, Guide My Feet. And yes, we did Guide My Feet in the last lesson. We're also going to do Guide My Feet in the next 2 lessons. The reason we're using Guide My Feet is there's so many places we can use bass runs. So you're going to know Guide My Feet pretty well by the time we're done with this little section. We are at least doing it in a different key, so it's a different set of chords. So at the beginning, and this is with the bass strum pattern, we have Guide My Feet to your F while I run this. Now we have a C chord at the end of the first line. We're going to do a C to A minor bass run. So that's going to be on the word race, we do a bass and a strum. And then the 2 beats before we move to the A minor, that's when we do the bass run. So that's going to be while I run this race. Now our bass run. Next line we have A minor, guide my. Now above the word feet, we have an A minor to C run written in there. So that's going to be on the word feet, we have bass, strum, and then bass run right before we get to the C chord. So from the A minor at the beginning of the second line, we have guide my feet, bass run, while I run this race. Third line is the same as the first line. Guide my feet while I run this. Going to do a bass run here. Race for I don't want to run this race in vain. Race in vain. I'm going to play this one twice. First time is going to be quarter equals 100. Second time, quarter equals 80. As always, I encourage you to play along with the video so you can practice keeping a steady tempo, or use a metronome so you can choose your own tempo. It's also going to be important to practice along with the video for these bass runs so you can get the timing down. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One, two, 1, 2, 3, 4. Your assignment is to continue practicing the G to E minor loop on page 66, as well as your new C to A minor loop on page 68, and to practice Guide My Feet on page 69, incorporating the C and A minor bass runs. Play through those loop exercises and the songs slowly at first, and then once you have the timing down, work on your tempo by playing along with the video, or play to a metronome so you can choose your own tempo. Practice this material until you're comfortable with it, a week, maybe more, maybe less, and then when you're ready, I'll see you on page 70, where I'm going to show you C to G bass runs.